we rely on IPC standards and other trade organizations to provide guidelines for how we build our products, particularly in electronics. The auto industry seems to embrace their own standards. They do seem in many ways to march to the beat of their own drummer, for better or for worse. And they are a very unique industry. But then again, electrons don't care what industry they're in. They follow the same rules. The physics of failure follow the same rules, whether you're in a pacemaker or a Hasbro toy or an automobile. Will there be kind of a harmonized standard? I know there's an automotive rev or version of some of the IPC standards, but should there be more of a harmonization of IPC in the auto industry in terms of standards? Should we all be building boards the same way?
Yeah, I mean, this is a fair question, and let's be fair to IPC, which is made up of people like you and me in our industry, volunteering for the most part our time. Even if standard committees were meeting more frequently than they are today, it would still be a challenge to keep up with the pace of this industry, and I'm talking specifically automotive and the subset of EV. But this doesn't, of course, lessen the need eventually for standards, because, as you know, the lack of standards can result in higher costs of manufacturing. Case in point, I'll make 2 points. The automotive industry has been using the same standard for SIR, or surface insulation resistance, for what, 30 years? This common testing procedure has worked fine. It still works fine in many cases, but for automotive and specifically in EV, we've seen a lot of change just in the last few years. So the longer mission profiles we just talked about have resulted in what we at Indium are calling enhanced SIR, to which we have developed products to meet these unofficial, I guess you could call it, higher automotive standards. So let me give a few brief examples. The current J standard 004B for SIR is 100 microohms, while the automotive industry is testing at 5,000. The current test is, I think it's like 168 hours, while industry is now testing at 1,000 hours. And the voltage back then was like 5 volts. Now it's 10, even 50 volts. So this is a case where automotive is developing their own standards, and frankly, they can't wait on IPC to come up with the standard. So they don't have a choice. Another example that we deal with quite a bit at Indium is a voiding phenomenon related to the soldering process. Our industry has struggled the last several years with an IPC spec on the books, but it only pertains to the case of ball grid array. So there are many new types of packages or components that did not exist when that standard was developed. But I have some good news to report. DKE, which is a German body of automotive manufacturers, has been quantifying both of these examples, as I just discussed. And in the case of voiding, they've been studying the impact of voiding on components like QFX and its relationship with reliability. So their work is expected to be adopted by the IPC, and frankly, should be a relief to many of us who are building for automotive, since acceptable voiding levels will be relaxed.
Join us on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month for new episodes of Reliability Matters.